Patrick, good to see you,
Good
my
to see
friend.
you.
Good to see you in New York City.
Yes.
You have one of the most interesting jobs because for you it's similar to me. When someone asks you what do you do for a living, you wear so many hats. So what do you explain to someone when they ask you what do you do for a living?
I would say I'm an entrepreneur. I run businesses. I'm a podcaster. I'm a family guy, but I'm a capitalist at the core.
So what is the main source of income for you, would you say?
Well,
the biggest source of income
I
right
sold
now.
the insurance company. So outside of the insurance company today, I don't take any income away from Valuetainment today. I've made good choices financially. But everything we're making right now with Valuetainment and Bed David Consulting is being reinvested. Literally everything. Into projects, other companies we're running, product development, buildings we're buying. That's all reinvested. But I've made a lot of good choices in my life financially. So I live off of my money that I've made.
So what's the main goal? Like obviously you keep, what gets you excited? What are you passionate about right now?
The vision, I think there's real enemies going on today. I think there's a lot of real enemies trying to divide people that typically get along. You know, we may have differences on 4 different things and we can hash that out and isolate those 4 things, but we probably agree on 28 things. I think we're focused way too much on the 4, not enough on the 28. And I feel like we're gonna play our part in making sure we can synergize and unify as much as possible.
So based on that answer, do you see you getting more into politics at
I'm
all?
not born here. I don't have interest in governorship at all, any of the other jobs, but I will play the role of a kingmaker for many years to come.
What age were you when you made your first million?
I was 28, 29, 30, late 20s when I made my first million.
Yeah. And you did that through insurance, correct?
Insurance, yes.
So what did you do with that million? Like when did you start making money? Were you just kind of
I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in Granada Hills. I drove a Ford Focus with $250,000 in a bank. I stayed liquid, cash. I'm a guy that wanted a lot of savings because I was pursuing the vision long term. So I wanted money to be able to reinvest. So no, I played a very frugal life for many years.
So your advice to people financially, do you have one rule that you kind of live by that no matter where you are, doing well, a medium-sized income, low income, high income, what's the best thing that you learn financially that you give for just cash flow, even cash flow? What should people be doing with their money? I don't really know.
I would say the first thing is decide who you want to be in your life, how big of a life you want to live, and don't compare. Meaning, if you're the supporting role, and that's what you do, go become a great supporting role on the company, be so much of a value to the company that eventually get equity. You get shares in a company. And if the company goes public, it sells, you make money. One of the best advice I got from a Russian businessman, my ex-girlfriend was working for him 25 years ago, 22 years ago. And I sat with him one day, I said, what's the key to making a lot of money? He said, never work for a sexy company. I said, what do you mean? He said, never work for a sexy established company because you're irrelevant. If you get fired or you quit, they don't know who you are. He says, go work for a smaller company, help it become big, be a voice, be a leader, own a piece of the company, and eventually become wealthy. So whether that's the life you want to live, or you want to build a company, operate a company, that's a different life, or an investor, influencer, content creator, choose the route on how you want to make money. Then get philosophically clear on your money. Don't get too arrogant. Don't get too cocky. Don't get too reckless with the money you make and the money you spend. Let's just say you have a big month, you know, money comes in. Don't go buy a watch you can't afford because your monthly income's not the steady one. But so pick and choose what route, what kind of a life you want to live. Then when it comes down to money, get your philosophies clear with finances, and then do not be too reckless with your money. I'm a guy that's cash is king philosophy.
Sure.
When the Yankees called and had the opportunity to be a minority owner, the only reason we could get that done is because I have cash. If I didn't have cash, the first thing they want to see is your finances. So cash is king in my opinion. Whether you're making 60 grand a year or you're making 20 million a year.
Yeah. Real estate market.
Yes.
Obviously, someone like me, I'm trying to own a place, but the prices have went crazy high, and some people aren't getting paid enough to even afford those prices with inflation. Any advice to people as far as what they should do as far as in the real estate game right now? And again, I know that might not be your expertise, you might not be a black belt on it, but you do know, you do know how to properly, financial freedom in a way. So,
well, I mean, here's what's wild. So yesterday, interest rates for 30-year fixed for somebody with a 720 credit is 8%. As of yesterday, a little over 8%. What does this mean? A year and a half ago was 3%. So we did the math. If you want to get a $500,000 loan, a year and a half ago at 3%, your payment is $2,100. The same exact $500,000 loan today at 8% is $3,677. Let me say this again, from $2,100 to 3,700. What the bank is going to do, to where you find out if you can afford that income, you take that income, you divide it by 36%. So if you take 2,100, it's going to show 5,500, which means the bank's going to say, do you make $5,500 a month to be able to afford a $500,000 loan? That's how the bank is going to do the math. Do you know today, to afford that same $500,000 loan at 8%, went from $5,500 income to $10,000, $11,000 a month? People didn't double their income in the last year and a half, 80%. So it's a very valid question you're asking. So now you may say, well, people aren't selling their homes. They're not dumping them. They're not dropping it at 20, 30, 40% discount. So why is that happening? This is kind of confusing. It's because people still have some cash. People are saving their low interest rates that they have. They don't want to sell a house, gain $200,000 in equity, and go buy another house at 8%. That just doesn't make any real sense to do something like that, right? So, but eventually this is going to flip, meaning the economy is eventually gonna say, hey, you gotta either sell the house, rates are gonna stay here, or you have to buy a house, or you're gonna be renting for a while. So if we stay in this interest rate for too long of a time, people will become minimalists, renting's gonna go up, you're gonna get more of these BlackRock companies that are gonna buy these bigger buildings and rent them out because they know you can't afford to buy a house. It's a very weird economy today. Cash buyers are buying houses, no problem.
Yeah.
Like commercial right now, property 2 years ago was an $89 million property in my area, Fort Lauderdale. Then it goes to $69 million, then $59 million. Today they will dump that property at $32 million. $89 to $32 million because buildings in many communities, you don't have the kind of workers that they want. People are working from home right now. People are working from Zoom right now. But eventually this thing's gonna figure itself out. But it is a very difficult time for the average person to want to buy a house today with the 8% interest rates.
Yeah. You lived an insane life, because you're didn't come from money. You kind of made you're do you consider yourself even new money? I mean, because you not even new money, but you're a self-made guy. And I think people respect that. What's something that you love to tell yourself, your younger self? If you had 3 rules to tell younger people that maybe you learned on your way, the most 3 important rules that really kind of you wish you could tell your younger self.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I would say it's my philosophy's got clear when I figured these 4 things out. Outworking everybody alone is not going to be enough. You can outwork there's a lot of people that work their tails off 80 hours a week and they make 60 grand a year. So that alone is not enough. Number 2, you got to out-improve your peers. So if I'm reading a book a year or 10 books a year, you're reading 30, 40, 50 books a year on a specialized topic, not romance novels. Both of us work 60 hours a week. You're in real estate, I'm in real estate. But you read 60 books a year on real estate, on sales, on negotiation. I read 5 a year. I can't compete with you.
Sure.
You're gonna get better strategies. So outwork is not enough. You need to out-improve. Then comes out-strategize. So for example, I went and looked at a house in the Hamptons 2 days ago. We're looking at this house. First house he shows it to us is on the market for $120. Beautiful home. Second house he shows us on the market for like $35 million. But I'm walking around the house and we're in the kitchen. I look to my left, my book is there. Your next 5 moves. And so as a buyer, I'm like, oh, what a smart owner of a house. I pick out, I said, guys, look what book this guy reads. I put it down. Then as a marketer, I said, did he plant the book here? The realtor to make me feel like this is a house, it's a sign? Whether he did or not, guess what? I don't know, but as a realtor, that's a great strategy to investigate who the buyer is and kind of figure out a way for him to feel at home. And then last but not least, number 4, so you got outwork, out-improve, out-strategize, but the last one's the scariest one. This is by far the most intimidating power when it comes down to competition that most will eventually crack, and that's outlast. Most people are not gonna outlast. Most people eventually will slow down at 100K a year, or $500,000, or $1 million, or most people in the NBA will just be happy to be in the NBA, and they'll no longer train as hard, they'll party, the girls, or maybe they made the All-Star, maybe they went and became an MVP, or maybe won a championship, but there's only gonna be a few guys. I had Brady at the event 2 weeks ago.
By the way, awesome, incredible.
Yeah, I thought he was amazing, so what is he doing? He outlasted so many people, eventually became the greatest. And that takes a minute to do.
Do you have a morning routine? Or is it just kind
do
of
I have?
Day,
I'm tall, so for me, the way I take care of my body is very important. My back, my legs. I have to make sure I'm healthy. I got 4 kids. I got a family. I'm running all these businesses. So I have now a cold plunge that I just started a couple months ago. I can't tell you this is a lifelong thing, but every morning I have to work out. Every morning I have to consume content. Nowadays, It's whether it's the news, the story, what's going on, current events, because we're doing a podcast, books. It's constant learning in the morning and exercise.
Lastly,
Yeah.
I go online, and this doesn't go to you, but this goes to, you see all these people, the personal development people, not calling you a personal development guy, but I'm saying just in general, you see all these people about these CEO giving advice and stuff like that. How do I tell when these people are selling snake oil, where it's like BS and they're just private jet stuff, or they're the real deal? Because there's so much of this kind of
Great
content
question.
going on right now.
You know, the biggest thing I did, I'll tell you what I did. When I was creating content with Valuetainment, any piece of content I ever made is because I was going through it at that time. So for example, how to fire people. I was learning how to fire people. I don't know how to fire people. How to hire people. How to retain people. How to raise money. It's because I just raised money. How to sign a lease. How to open up an office. And this was all an evolution. So you have to watch for three things, is what I call it. There are a lot of theory people. Theory people are people that read the right books. So they regurgitate what they read from books. No problem.
Yeah.
Number two is witness people you can learn a lot from. Witness is, say you work with Jobs for 10 years, Steve Jobs. Your name is Guy Kawasaki. Guess what? I can learn a lot from you on what Jobs did because you had the lens on Jobs, right? Say you're BJ Armstrong, you work with Michael, you played with him in the locker room. I can learn a lot from you, right? Say you're Brady's best guy, you're Brady's best friend, and you were with him for 10, 20 years. I can learn a lot from you, but you're number two level, witness. The last one is the best one, is the application. The source, which is Brady, which is Michael, which is Jobs. If you can get a trifecta, it's a person that has a lot of theories, they have witnessed others, and they've applied. So if I'm filtering out on who this person is that is giving me the content, I put them in a category and I'll say, that guy's a theory guy, no problem. That guy's a witness guy, no problem. That guy's an application guy. I respect that guy.
Yeah.
Once you filter it that way, you know who to listen to.
I love it, dude. You're a legend. I'm
Oh,
a
man,
huge
thank
fan of the
you.
podcast. I
Appreciate
appreciate
you.
the good work.
Thank
You're
you,
doing a great
brother.
job,
Thank
man.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much,
Thank
man.
you.